Hi, I'm Hermine Hartman, and thank you for being with us. Our guest today is Chaz Ebert. She is the widow of the GOAT of film critics, Roger Ebert. And she carries on his tradition today in the archival ebert.com and with her own column, Chaz's Journal. She produces the Ebert Fest, but more importantly, she carries on his life's tradition, and you can see it in the documentary, Life Itself. She talks about lessons learned, lessons that she learned with her husband and from her husband. And we want to talk today about her book. The book is on civility and kindness. God knows we need it today. Hello, Chaz.
It's so good to be here with you today. And I just want to tell you the name of my book is called It's Time to Give a FECK.
And you got to say it slow.
F-E-C-K.
That's right.
F-E-C-K. And that's an acronym. It's elevating humanity through forgiveness, empathy, compassion, and kindness.
And we're going to talk about all of those principles. But first of all, tell me, how did you come about writing the book?
So I started writing the book, I think it was like right before the pandemic. And toward the end of Roger's life, I was called upon to give a lot of speeches on hope. I had a speech called Sometimes Hope is a Strategy. And so I would give the speech at cancer centers, at women's shelters, and other places when I was called on to speak. And during that time, in speaking about hope, I developed so much compassion for the people that I was speaking with. And I started wanting to do something to help alleviate some of the suffering of others, and that's where the acts of kindness came in. So it was, and empathy came from empathy in the book is either E for Ebert or E for empathy, because Roger said that movies are a machine that generates empathy. That's what he liked most about being a film critic. He said, it lets you put yourself in someone else's shoes for 2 hours at a time.
So I want to talk about each of the principles because I
Okay.
think they're just they're so important, they're so valuable, yet they're so simple but so hard to do.
Yes.
So let's talk about the first one. Let's talk about why is forgiveness so important?
Forgiveness is the most difficult one. And in fact, I had the other principles or values before I added forgiveness. The empathy, the compassion, the kindness. Again, toward the end of Roger's life, or shortly after he passed away, Robert Redford at the Sundance Institute started a program. It was named after Roger, and I used to send interns to learn about film criticism at film festivals. And I added to that program, I would tell the students or the emerging writers or film critics and technologists who went through those programs, I want you to apply these principles in your work. When you're writing about someone, Roger started empathy, but I added compassion, I added kindness, and I said you really should write about these. And whether you're a technologist who is inventing a video game or any kind of technology, what can you do to help encourage those principles? But it was after that that I went to, I think I went to South Africa. I met Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and we had these talks about forgiveness. And then I also, in 2016, I think it was, at my film festival, Ebert Fest in Champaign, Illinois, I had a Palestinian and Israeli come with their movie, Disturbing the Peace. They said, we were talking about Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and they said, the things that he said about forgiveness are so true. Without forgiveness, you have no path for redemption. You remain a victim, and it is impossible to settle with people without forgiveness. So the forgiveness, even though I added that principle to the programs later, it is the most important principle, and that's why it comes first.
So in your book, on page 49,
Yes.
you talk about your encounter with Bishop Tutu. And this is what you wrote. You said, President Nelson Mandela appointed Archbishop Tutu to chair the commission and he took on the testimony of nearly 21,000 victims. And Archbishop Tutu said that he lost many friends over the concepts of their commission, but he and President Mandela knew there would be no peace and no progress without forgiveness.
Yes.
That's the heaviest line to me in the entire book, because as you say, it's the most difficult concept to grasp. And how wonderful of you to take your interns and give them these principles to instill, to write about,
Yes.
no matter what.
No matter whether they're talking about dramas or books or movies or video games, putting some of those principles really important in the work.
The other concept, or the other example you give in the concept of forgiveness, is the killings that were done in Charleston, South Carolina, where a white supremacist, a young man, Delian Roof, went to a prayer service at the historic church, Emmanuel African Methodist Church, and he killed 9 members of the congregation as they were in Bible study.
After he had prayed with them.
He prayed with them.
In the church.
Chaz, let me tell you something now.
And those people.
Forgiveness is difficult.
Forgiveness, especially forgiveness at that level.
At ComEd, we understand a little help can really make someone's day. That's why we provide financial assistance and billing options to help you pay and manage your electric bill. Use the ComEd Smart Assistance Manager to discover bill assistance and savings options designed with you in mind.
The future of a community will always depend on the health of its newest members. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois is launching its new Special Beginnings program, elevating maternal health care to new levels, including advanced technologies, tools, and personal advocacy teams, ensuring new moms access to the right care at the right time. With each promising newborn, the promise of a brighter future also needs to be delivered. Fortunately, at Blue Cross, being there from the beginning will always be our reason for being.
That's the sound of the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, saving you up to $500 on your energy bills, with rebates and discounts on energy-efficient products. So you can enjoy coming back to a home full of savings. Visit ComEd.com/home savings.
What's up, everybody? This is Curtis Blow inviting you to the Hip Hop Nutcracker, a holiday mashup for the whole family.
Playing at the CIBC Theater December 10th to the 15th. Get tickets at BroadwayInChicago.com.
The future of a community will always depend on the health of its newest members. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois is launching its new Special Beginnings program, elevating maternal health care to new levels, including advanced technologies, tools, and personal advocacy teams, ensuring new moms access to the right care at the right time. With each promising newborn, the promise of a brighter future also needs to be delivered. Fortunately, at Blue Cross, being there from the beginning will always be our reason for being.
Just a trim.
Yeah. Yo, it's the Get Covered Illinois Navigator. I need health insurance.
Sure, it's my job to help you find an affordable Get Covered Illinois health plan.
Yeah, but I'm on a lot of medications.
Here, our plans offer essential health benefits like prescription drugs, annual checkups, and you may get financial help. You can call me or visit getcoveredillinois.gov.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Have a seat.
Enroll by December 15th to get coverage starting January 1st.
So how do you forgive, but at the same time, how do we, society, larger society, account for accountability and even penalty and punishment? How do you do that?
So this is the thing that's so important. I'm so glad that you asked me that question. Whether it's Archbishop Tutu or the women at the Episcopal Church, African Episcopal Church, who forgave people, you still hold people accountable for their actions. It doesn't mean that if they do something criminal, they don't serve the time. Or it doesn't mean that you can't have a moment where you are yourself trying to find it in your heart to forgive. And you don't become a doormat and just forgive anything that happens. The person has to, there are levels of accountability. There is, sometimes someone may have remorse over something they did. I think even with all that, it is to me almost like a divine intervention that someone can find that depth of forgiveness, right? Don't you think?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. But it's hard.
It's hard.
It's
but
difficult.
You know what they tell me?
It takes a lot of growth.
But you know what it takes a lot of growth. But you know what they tell me? And I actually have found this in my own life. It takes a weight off of your shoulders to
it's
forgive.
On you. Yeah.
It is on you, yeah.
It's on you.
Yeah.
So you talk about listening.
Yes.
You talk about empathy is the ability to learn in somebody else's shoes. And it sounds like you developed that from Roger as he looked at films to give you empathy, to look at what it's like to be in somebody's shoes. It could be gender, it could be race, it could be culture, it could be profession.
Ethnicity.
Talk about that. Talk about that for me.
So empathy is something that I will just say, it's not that I learned empathy from Roger, because I actually learned empathy in my home.
From your dad.
My mom and my dad. I actually am the 8th of 9 children, big family, but my mother was the kindest person in the whole world.
Were all the kids at your house?
She said, well,
in the neighborhood?
all the neighborhood kids. Did you have a house like that where you're?
But I'm an only child.
You're the only child.
So I was always bringing home company.
Oh, yes,
I was looking for my sisters and brothers that I didn't have.
Yeah.
Same thing, same concept.
But Hermine, do you know Roger was an only child? And I think, and I see you reaching out to others with the things that you do. And he did it too, I think, as an only child.
You're connecting.
You are connecting.
You're connecting.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're doing.
So empathy is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to see what it's like to be someone different from you, and to actually have an understanding of what they're doing. Doesn't mean you have to agree with everything they do.
But at least you have perspective.
A perspective,
okay.
Absolutely.
So as a lesson of empathy in the book, you talk about the experience of the quarterback football player,
Colin Kaepernick.
And when he refused to stand during the game for the national anthem, and his empathy was black men are getting killed by policemen, and here I am on this football field.
And what can I do?
What can I do? And that was his one-man effort, right?
That's right.
Talk about that. Because you say empathy is about being civil and accepting the difference of others, even when we disagree.
Even when we disagree. And that was, with Colin Kaepernick, when he took a knee, I was part of a women's group. And one of the women in the group, and she was the one that I had always had the most in common with, I thought, until that moment, when he took a knee, she said, "Isn't he disrespecting the veterans and the flag?" I said, "No, he's not disrespecting anyone. What he's doing is using his platform to speak up for people who he felt did not have the same privileges that he had." And she said, "But why didn't he stand?" And I tried to explain to her, and we actually had sort of a falling out over it.
But in that instance, that particular case, didn't that come down to racial, that some white people just didn't understand what he was doing and why he was doing? It wasn't disrespect at all.
It wasn't disrespect. No, it was, and I have to say, there were some white people who didn't understand, but there were also some black people who didn't understand I'm not going to even mention the name of the person who she told me who agreed with her about that. And I said, "No, he's wrong. He was not doing what he was doing. He felt he was doing a patriotic duty of speaking up for other people and making it better for other people. Who couldn't speak up for themselves.
He had, I mean, it's like in sports, these guys get a lot of fame.
Yes.
And I guess Ali is probably the poster child.
Muhammad Ali.
And I'm going to say something about how I feel about what's happening socially
Right.
and social justice to people. And that's exactly the carry-on of that.
Especially when they feel that they've been given so much
That's
in the
right.
public eye and they know
That's
they
right.
have the ear of people.
That's right.
And I think that it's great that they speak out and do what they do.
At ComEd, we understand a little help can really make someone's day. That's why we provide financial assistance and billing options to help you pay and manage your electric bill. Use the ComEd Smart Assistance Manager to discover bill assistance and savings options designed with you in mind.
The future of a community will always depend on the health of its newest members. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois is launching its new Special Beginnings program, elevating maternal health care to new levels, including advanced technologies, tools, and personal advocacy teams, ensuring new moms access to the right care at the right time. With each promising newborn, the promise of a brighter future also needs to be delivered. Fortunately, at Blue Cross, being there from the beginning will always be our reason for being.
That's the sound of the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, saving you up to $500 on your energy bills, with rebates and discounts on energy-efficient products. So you can enjoy coming back to a home full of savings. Visit ComEd.com/home savings.
What's up, everybody? This is Curtis Blow, inviting you to the Hip Hop Nutcracker, a holiday mashup for the whole family.
Playing at the CIBC Theater December 10th to the 15th. Get tickets at BroadwayInChicago.com.
The future of a community will always depend on the health of its newest members. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois is launching its new Special Beginnings program, elevating maternal health care to new levels, including advanced technologies, tools, and personal advocacy teams, ensuring new moms access to the right care at the right time. With each promising newborn, the promise of a brighter future also needs to be delivered. Fortunately, at Blue Cross, being there from the beginning will always be our reason for being.
Now, your third principle is compassion. You
Yes.
talk about that being a constant process, and you talk about the many lessons that you learned from Roger's illness.
From Roger's illness. Oh, in compassion, the people, compassion and kindness. I couldn't believe how people were so kind and people were empathetic and compassionate. People would do things like when I would have to sit at the hospital by his bedside, I would forget to eat. People would bring me water, they would bring me food. You know, when he passed away, people were like angels. They surrounded me to let me know that I wasn't alone and that they would do whatever they could. And that's why I want to pass along these principles to other people. I would like to give back and pay it forward and do things and surround people the way that they surrounded me.
And that's exactly what you are describing in the book. You talk about how we stretch ourselves. And you do that on page 215, and you say that within minutes of sitting down, you stretched yourself. You felt a collapse, but you felt people picking you up all the time, to the amazement of all, to say the game must go on.
The game must go on.
And the rally cry that's typical in sports, that's what you felt.
Yes.
With presence.
Yes, with the presence of people, but also with the presence of Roger from the beyond. I mean, sometimes he would, I mean, it may sound, some people will understand this, because people who we love and whom we were very close with are kind of always around.
I lost my mother.
Yeah.
She's 101 and a half.
Yes.
I know what you mean with the presence, because I try to tell people now when they lose a loved one,
Yes.
they don't go away.
They're around.
They're here. They're with you.
Yes.
At all times.
101. You were
But you
so
feel
fortunate
the
to
presence,
have her.
the presence.
Yeah.
And that's very key. And then your last principle I think it's
kindness.
It's kindness.
The
and maybe
action step.
Your action. And you say that.
Yes.
You say kindness is an active uplighting of those around us. And you cited a wonderful example of a woman named Candace. We'll just give her first name.
Okay.
When she went to the homeless people in the coldest winter we've ever had, 55
coldest.
below zero.
The
On January,
polar vortex, they called it.
That's right.
Yes.
On January 2019, she went to the homeless. Tell us that story, what she did and how she did it.
So Candace is a wonderful woman. She's a small business owner in Chicago. She went out to go to work that day, and when she got out, she realized this was the coldest she had ever seen it. She went back to her house, called all of her employees and said, "Don't come in today, it's too cold." She went to bed, and she got in bed, but then her husband, she looked at him and she said, "We're warm and we're safe, but what about those people who are living, who don't have houses or apartments, and they're living under the bridge or under the embankment? We have to go out and do something about it."
Living outside.
Living outside in that cold, cold, frigid weather. And she got groups of people together to bring their cars and bring their vans and to pick up the people from the street and take them. But she also had to call around to find a hotel to take them, because some of the hotels said
no. They said
they
no.
wouldn't say no. They said if the people, they need to have their own credit card and driver's license. And she said, some of these people are homeless. They don't have credit cards and driver's licenses. I will pay for them. They said, corporate policy, we can't. But she did find a nice motel to take them. And she called for people. People would come over, and not only would they help bring the people there to the motel, they came back to help her cook, because all of the chefs didn't come to the restaurant because some of them couldn't get to work. The people needed to eat. People helped clean everything for a week, for 5 days. She wanted to save about 5 or 10 people. She ended up saving about 170 people. Some of them were children and pregnant women who had been outside. So she is just an angel.
When it was that cold, I went home to put the key to unlock the door.
Yes. Was it frozen?
My hand froze
Oh.
by being out for no more than a minute.
Yes.
And this is like ridiculous, because I went home and I was like, what's wrong? What's wrong?
So imagine somebody lying out there.
I went into the closet and said, this is ridiculous. And I didn't do the extreme of what Candace did
Okay.
to put people, but I started pulling coats and
Oh,
sweaters
yes.
and blankets,
Yes.
and then went out on the street
To distribute them.
because
Yes.
they were going to freeze to death.
They would freeze to death.
I mean, if my hand froze in less than 30 seconds trying to get a key in the
Yes.
door,
Right.
which was frozen, then what are you going to do out here? So you've given steps. And the wonderful thing, the best thing that I enjoyed in the book is you give us workshop lessons.
A workbook,
A
worksheets
workbook
at the end
lesson
of each chapter.
that you can share.
Yes.
Do you think, this is what I think, this ought to be in schools. This ought to be in schools, because this world, this society, this TikTok world we're living in.
We're more
We are so
polarized.
off.
Kids are getting more isolated and
Yes.
disconnected from each other.
That's right.
And this is to help bring us more together.
That's right.
It's also, I think it's just all of these principles are things that we all should learn, we all don't learn. But I say that kindness and compassion are like muscles. The more you use them, the stronger they get. And so if kids are taught this early and they practice it, in fact, in my own life, I try to do either an act of kindness or compassion daily to just keep it forefront in my mind.
So which one is the hardest? Which are your four principles?
Forgiveness.
That's the hardest.
Forgiveness
which
is the hardest.
Which is the simplest? Is
I
it
don't
kindness?
know which is. Kindness takes action for you to do something. Maybe feeling compassion for someone, or maybe empathy. Although I had one lady who told me empathy was the hardest for her, to put herself in someone else's shoes.
Did you explain to her? See, this is where I found absolute beauty.
Okay.
When you talk about in the book how Roger would look at a movie, and the movie, the storyline of the movie, the emotion of the movie, the feel of the movie gave him an empathy of, that's an experience I don't know,
Yes.
I didn't have,
Yes.
but I can relate to.
Right.
So I thought that was most interesting.
Yes.
So do you still see that in the movies?
I
that
do.
the movies give us, and maybe
I
theater
do.
gives us that?
And I love it. I love going to plays that show me something about someone's life that's different than mine, so I can have an understanding of it. I love to go to a movie that takes me to a whole different world, or maybe someone who's, I think is a difficult character, but you find out why that character is different, so that when you meet someone like that in your own life, you think, oh, I know a little bit about that. I can have empathy for that person.
So what's your favorite movies? Name your 3 favorites.
Okay, I was not prepared to do that today because after talking about empathy and compassion and kindness, my favorite movie is A Clockwork Orange, which is a very difficult movie. It was a Stanley Kubrick movie. It was banned in England for a while because of the violence of the movie. But it became my favorite movie at a time, I think, when I was either in college or graduate school, and I was taking psychology courses, and I was doing, so there's a good reason why it's one of my favorite movies.
Because?
But people think, how can you talk about compassion and kindness and like A Clockwork Orange?
Oh, okay,
They're
so,
not mutually exclusive.
So number 2, what's your second favorite, most favorite?
I don't, I can't tell you that today. I can't, because I have a list of movies that I love.
What was Roger's favorite movie?
Let me see. Some of
three?
Spike Lee's movies are some of my favorites. I love movies by any movie about someone, about people being good or being kind are my favorite. I can tell you categories of movies that I like. Movies where people are helping to uplift other people. I used to love some of the Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee movies.
They
and
were
there
very
are people,
emotionally
they're
filled.
emotional, and people going in and helping other people. So I can give you categories, but I wasn't prepared to talk about my favorite movies today.
How could you think I wasn't going to ask you a question about movies?
And I should have been.
Chaz Ebert, she's our guest today. She's got a wonderful book. It's Time to Give A FECK. And it talks about principles that we should all live by, make us a better world. I want this book to go to Donald Trump. That's what I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to give him an autographed copy.
I would love to give him a copy.
I'm Hermine Hartman with Indigo Studio.